Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Golden Nuggets podcast. We are still with Noreta, Jacob, and this is part 2. And I think we ended part 1 with we talked about a bit of the struggles, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe we can get Noreta to share like some of the struggles that you face in your life.
I guess I'm the only child. So being the only child, I have to really survive. You know, some people think that being the only child, you get
everything.
Lavish,
manja,
luxury,
you can do. I say, oh no, not for me. I have to learn how to be the son, and I have to learn how to be the daughter. My father really taught me a lot about some technical skills, changing light bulbs and wires and wiring and such. And then at the same time, because he used to be a hawker, so I learned a lot of cooking skills from him, and also from my mom, and he used to cook those halal Chinese Muslim food back in Tanglin Hall. I think some of you will know Nur Jawan Seafood Stall. They sell the best wonton noodle, Hokkien mee, chang wei tiao. So that was my dad, in action. And so from there, I think I learned a lot of skills. From there. And I think being the only child as well, and because my parents were very busy at that point of time, I had to be taken care of by my grandma, by my aunt. I have to go to a different house on Saturday, different house during the weekdays. And then on Sundays, I'm at home and then go back to school. So they call me the anak pelarian, because I always have a toothbrush in my bag. So which house do I go now? So I think that's something that really taught me about being independent. That's number one. And then like I said, I think back in pre-U, I failed and I went to poly. And then when I started working, instead of working in the early childhood scene, I worked in the zoo for a year. So I worked with the snakes. So yes, that's the ones that I got bitten by a snake very badly. That I had to be, my hand had to be stitched, be glued medical glue. Because
I love snakes.
Huh?
I love snakes.
You love, right?
Yeah.
Very pretty.
I think because I'm Slytherin.
And they're just so gorgeous, and they're very pretty, and they just, if they are, I would say, tamed, they are quite docile, they can just, be around your neck and just relax and chill as long as you feed them lah. So I think that's something that was a very interesting experience. And because of my early childhood experience, I get to observe how teachers are when they actually bring the kids to the zoo. Some of them, because I work with snakes, so some of them will be like, ooh, and then the children all started running away. And then some some teachers would be like, oh, children, come take a look at the lady with the snake. And then they start touching, and then the teachers start to move back because the teacher actually, scared lah. But then she doesn't want to show to the she didn't want to show to the children. And I thought that was very nice. And some teachers really, come, let's take, you touch a snake and such. So I think that really made me realize what kind of teacher I want to be, once I leave the zoo and that stuff. And then the struggle is, like I said, I think being in a preschool so far, it has been great. Honestly, my relationship with parents so far, I would say 90% has been great. So sometimes when teachers tell me that they have problems with parents, sometimes I question, how is your relationship with the parents to begin with? So back then, we are always told, by our leader, by our principal, or by our director, always interact with the parents first. You are going to be dealing with their children. And if you don't bond with the parents first, how are you going to make it easy for you to work with the children? So always remember, if an early child educator, you're not only working with children, you're working with parents the same. So we always call ourselves the partners in education. So we are not the main educators, but we are partners in education. So if we make the parents feel good in that way, the parents will also trust us. If there's any issues that happen, the parents will also trust us that, we tried our best. Just accidents do happen, So that's one thing. So I have to say, honestly, I don't know. Maybe I've been lucky for 15 years. My relationship with the parents have been great. I did have challenging parents, but eventually we became friends. Eventually they really, I had good, testimonials from them. They really trusted me, although they were very cold initially. So I think I have to say, from what I have experienced, is the relationship has to develop first before I can even deal with their own their children. So that's my take on dealing with parents lah. So come to business, oh wow, I have to say, the challenges would be I think it's that feeling of wanting to do things with passion at the same time you need to monetize it, and you have to sustain your business. If not, then a lot of businesses will just flop after 5 years or not even 5 years. And I think that's something that us educators have trouble with because we're always working with our heart. So but at the same time, I think that's something that that's the struggles that I had to go through in terms of like knocking doors to doors. At this point, just last year, I went to every single maid agency in Bukit Timah shopping center just to tell them, hey, I have trainings for your helpers.
Okay.
It's going to bring out the quality, but I don't think they see. Some of them see it. Some of them like, okay, just give it to me. I'll tell my boss, and then they start working. And to them, it's like, I'm just here to do my work.
To them, it's extra cost.
Yes. They don't see it as this is going to be a good investment value. So they don't see it.
Yeah,
so
they don't see the value. So how do you educate that part?
Yeah, so it's very very interesting. I think it's really about winning their hearts, and I think I need to find. So if this doesn't work, right? I've given like almost 100, and I would say about not 100, about 50 to 60 maid agencies. Not even a single one came back to me.
Yep, correct.
Right? But I know some of them actually agreed upon it. Say, I think I will tell my boss, because their bosses were not there, you see.
Okay.
So I need to think, okay, if this is a struggle and I still feel that it is a need for them to know about interaction with children, because your helpers, because for them it's like these helpers, they just take care, custodial care. Don't bother telling them about interaction with children. It's not. That's not the case. The parents just want.
Because I have a first aid training center, and last year I spent a lot of time also going to these maid agencies to actually pitch to them about
Safety,
making sure their helpers are ready in times of crisis, right? And they say that they feel it's a need. But I just think they don't want to spend the money.
Yeah, and because they feel that the employers have to spend the money.
Correct.
So they say, if my clients come, would you do?
Yeah.
I say yes, I would, but I'm trying to tell you that this is going to add value to your agency.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but they don't see it that way. So because of that, I need to think of other ways to do it. I'm still looking towards it. I'm not going to stop. This idea intention, so I just need to find a way to do it. Probably maybe start with the employers first, and then after that go to the agency.
But it's just that I mean, if you were to go to employers, right, you are like going one by one, so it's much more difficult, right?
Even though it's much more difficult, but I feel that, like I think I did mention, if you give that personal touch, it does help to get them to see who you are and who's the person who's doing the training. I think the initial bit has to come from me first. So that's the reason why I was willing to go to that 50 to 60 agencies just to talk and repeat, and just to tell them who I am. And sometimes your aura, your energy also helps to gain their attraction, their attention as well. Because if I'm just going to send them an email, it's just going to be another training center. But if I come as the trainer and I tell you how this is going to help, and that's when sometimes that physical interaction and connection does play a part.
The benefits, sharing of the benefits as well.
Correct. From you, from yourself.
So last year I spent some time looking for maid agencies to provide the service. I also go to preschools to make sure that the teachers are also
well equipped,
right? But the problem with that is they do not have the time. And I don't blame them, because most of the centers, they are working Monday to Saturday, right? And then Sunday is their only family day. So the principal also will feel bad to ask them to come. And they don't have like MOE educators where you got like June holidays, December holidays.
So
and sometimes the timing is a bit crazy also, because they need to do their own lesson plans and that kind of stuff.
So it's true. I think, but at the end of the day, every educator needs to have, it's a need to have a first aid you have to be first aid trained.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Yeah.
So that's part of the licensing, right? So what happened is they won't have the additional on top, above and beyond, unless they have a staff training where they call upon you to come in and then do that. That's a different story. But usually what happens is they will see the list of teachers and then they say, okay, these 3 teachers first
free,
aid
available.
expiring. Okay, you all 3 go. And then after that, so that's how it goes for them. Unless, like I mentioned, if there's a day that, you know how we all preschool centers, we get about 5.5 or 5.5 days for training. So maybe they will actually inject that topic and bring you in for that half a day. Then that works. For example,
So Ami can work with Noreta. Really.
So in other words, like because sometimes they have school closure because of such trainings, right?
Yeah.
So that is when they actually
they can do things, but most of the time
they already
because
packed up, right?
usually a lot of centers, they want to bring their teachers for a nice
retreat
to Bangkok to just enjoy, and they deserve that.
Yeah, true.
Really?
Rather than another.
Really deserve? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, we do.
They do. I know the
we
amount.
enjoy. Yes, go to Bali.
kidding.
Only if I'm just saying hint to some principals out there, some directors out there. Bali. What else? Tell me what you want to tell. So yeah,
Iceland is a nice place, by the way.
Where? Sorry again.
Iceland is a nice place.
Iceland. Oh, sudah.
I'm kidding.
Okay, so I think these are the times. I mean, and also like I said, the opportunity that I had from my previous center was I get to go to Australia to actually have like a learning journey and like an exchange whereby I get to visit their
Centers,
preschools. Oh my goodness, they're gorgeous.
How different are they?
Yeah, I was just about to ask the same
Especially in
question.
terms of curriculum.
Yeah,
Okay.
because like we definitely don't have the same curriculum.
Yes, correct.
And
Okay.
I also know, I forgot the name of that term, whereby some centers, what they do is they let their students go out to learn. And it's like only half a day kind of stuff, and then they learn from interacting with nature and that
everything
kind
like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's this thing called loose parts play, whereby they use a lot of things around them. There are no commercial toys.
Okay.
They use twigs. They
Yes,
use all
okay.
these things.
Yes,
and
correct.
Okay, but then again, we want to compare to Singapore. Singapore is a multicultural society.
Yeah.
We have a lot of languages that we need to cover. Okay, so we have mainly English and Mandarin, right? Chinese. Over there, they don't have to worry about dual language. So they can focus on English throughout the day.
Okay.
And also, so from there, they can do a lot. I would say more freedom to do a lot of things in English. But then again, with that being said, that doesn't mean that we cannot implement some ideas. So what we did was we went there, we take a look at how the environment was being set up. Of course, environment we cannot compare to Singapore, like 10 times bigger. We have this kind of small little space, but they have bigger spaces. However, I think what we can do is how we are being told to do was, okay, whatever you learn, however you felt, how are you going to bring this back to our center?
Okay.
How are you going to bring this kind of motivational feeling to our center? How are you going to bring this kind of, joy for the children to our center? And that's where we did implement a loose parts play in our centers. And I did that. And because that was something that I had to start in order for me to encourage other teachers to do it. So as a leader, I have to do it first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? I cannot
Understand.
simply just tell this teacher to do it and then I leave her to find resources, I leave her to do the research and such. But I do it with her, or I do it and then she helps me, and then we set our own classroom, and then after that, that's when other centers or other teachers come on board and see that it is possible, it is doable. And what are the challenges? I have to tell them we need to embrace challenges. If we don't embrace challenges, how are we going to learn from it? So it's not about being toxic positive whereby just put aside challenges and do. No, we need to embrace it. We need to be grateful for the challenges that we get. That's the reason why we got where we are. We got to where we are. So I think that's something that I want to share, that it's okay to fail, it's okay to have challenges, because these are part of our lives. It's how we want to deal with these challenges that matter. Correct.
So in short, we acknowledge that the problem is there,
Yes.
we embrace it, and then we
Yes.
figure out a way
Yeah, we
forward.
need to appreciate the storm before we can actually appreciate the sun, for example. So I think that's something that we cannot just say. For example, I still have people who really hated COVID. They said that was at the end of the day, they might not have seen the joy or the little beautiful moments that they had during the COVID that you will never get now, as we are not in during COVID anymore. I mean, I'm talking about most of us, like maybe some of us, they really struggle, and in terms of abusive household or whatsoever. I think that is a tough type thing to do, but most of us, for example, if those who do not have that kind of struggle, they just see it as like, oh, I don't have the opportunity to make money, I don't have the opportunity. But how did you use that moment then to build yourself out, to build your spirituality, to build your relationship, to build your self-improvement? How? So I think those are the moments whereby if people don't make full use of these opportunities, that's when you always see the negative side of things.
Cool.
Okay. Earlier on, you shared that before you started Safar, you are doing photography, and also you have your own food business, right?
The food business started during COVID, by the way.
Okay.
Yes.
How did these two come about? And
Okay.
after that, like, why do you eventually decide to start
Okay,
Safar?
so NJ Photography, as mentioned, it started when I was a teacher already, or a principal back then. It was just a side. It was just for fun. I enjoyed it. I love seeing how people are looking at their pictures and smile, and I made them smile from that. That's number one. And so Safar started because of, like I mentioned, I think I felt that I needed to do more for the community, especially as a leader in an early childhood education field. And COVID, where Made with Love by NJ started during COVID, because I love to cook and I like to post it. And my friends are like, can you please send it over? And then after that, so eventually when COVID came, they said, okay, Norita, I'm going to pay you now. I'm sick and tired of Grab. I'm just going to, can you please cook this for me? And then when I decided to do that, and word start to spread, and I did not know what to call myself, because it's still using my own personal IG. And then when they gave me feedback saying that, I can really feel the love when you cook this. You can really feel that it's so nice. I can see, the amount of food that you give, my goodness, it's like for 2 people when it's only for me alone. And that's when I started to say Made with Love by NJ. So Norita Jacob. So from then on, I think I started to do, and because I like to explore and I like to experiment things that cannot be found in Singapore at that point of time, like the tacos, the halal tacos, and the cheese board, the cheese platter, my own pairing of things, and they really enjoy it. Also, I do teochew porridge. I think that's something that I grew up eating as a comfort food, as food that I know when I'm eating this means my parents did not have that money at the end, or is it the end of the month kind of food, waiting for the pay to come. So I enjoy all this food, and it's not easy to find teochew porridge at that point of time. So I decided to do that. And it has been great ever since. It's just that it starts to go, to die down a little bit after COVID, maybe because everybody's going out to eat now. But I still have a very, a handful of customers. They're still coming to me for tacos every now and then. So that is something that I still have that joy to do. And I think, as mentioned, after my father passed on back in 2017, I still want to carry on this legacy of, cooking for people, because I saw how he cooked for people with love, and with back then during Ramadan, he has been giving chicken porridge to every single customers for free. And I see that, and I see how he was being very generous, giving people food. That's my love language, giving people food. It's like, you're sick, you want food, have you eaten? That's the only thing I always ask. So I think that's something whereby I love to feed people. And it's my joy.
We usually fall ill, just to the 3 of us.
Suddenly, somebody 1% of this January she will get sick, and then February, is it like that?
So we know what to do now.
Norita, I'm sick. I feel like eating tacos. That's what my friend did. She's like, I'm pregnant. And so I cannot find tacos, and I think that's where I started my tacos business after that, because I said, okay, you want? Okay, I can make for you. So I made it for her. She went all the way to just pick it up, because she's pregnant, right? Especially for pregnant ladies. I have if they say they feel like eating something, I make sure they get it.
Actually, when I ordered from you, I wanted to take the cheese platter,
Oh, cheese platter is
but then after that you said, oh no, this week I'm doing taco.
Yes, correct. Because I had to do that. But cheese platter can be anytime. So for example, my future one is the Chinese New Year one. It's going to be a seasonal cheese platter,
Okay.
whereby I'm going to add halal.
What does it mean, seasonal?
Seasonal means it's going to be a Chinese New Year theme cheese platter, whereby I will the cured meat that I always use for the ham and the pepperoni, I'm going to change it to the lap cheong, the Chinese halal Chinese lap cheong, and
okay.
also the bakwa.
Okay.
To have that as a cured meat, and then pair
Bakwa
it with
be
your
dinding,
cheese. Yeah, dinding, very nice. And the lap cheong, they have this the Chinese sausage, the
Yeah.
Taiwanese sausage that is halal.
Okay.
So I'm going to add that. So that's going to be a fun pairing for the cheeses later. So yeah.
Sounds like I'm gonna order that.
Yeah, the way you're looking at me.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice. I tried it. It was like, oh, okay, this is a very nice. And then, the dip I usually make myself. Sometimes it's the caramelized onion, but the Chinese New Year one is probably going to be pineapple dip. So yeah, we're going to see how it goes.
Okay.
So I want to ask you, like, how much of your experiment is a success, and what happens when you fail?
For which one? for which the food
The food.
I think so far I'm very particular about my quality of food. I will keep on experimenting until I feel that it's right. I'm the kind of person who also do not like to just serve for the sake of serving, just because I want to earn money, for example. No, I want to make sure that that person really enjoys the food. So speaking of experiment, recently, in fact, last year I started this whole fine dining experience for the Muslim guests.
Okay.
So I had this restaurant in Dempsey. They actually wanted halal option for their customers.
That's a smart move.
Instead of providing bento set, usually that's how that's the case, right? For
Yeah.
weddings,
Yeah.
Chinese weddings, they will sell bento. I will actually create the similar food or the servings that the restaurant is going to
That they are serving. Okay, and then you
so
just
for
recreate
example,
to.
Yeah.
I did halal way lah. Basically, I halalized the ingredients. So I bring my own stuff, my own the pot and everything like that, and they provide me a corner. Which is a very nice
wow.
corner, and they say, okay, because I told them I do not wanna. I want to make sure that it is served the way you guys served. So they gave
Even the
me
plating?
Yes, the plating
Okay.
as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's all self-taught.
Okay.
So so we did their fish and everything. So I did it like a very fine dining experience.
Okay.
And the first time I did, the restaurant was really happy. They say, wow, can really see that it's on par with our quality and our visuals. So whenever I have, I will call you. So I think last year alone I have about 3 or 4.
Oh,
and then
wow.
just recently I had one as well.
Okay.
They had 5 Indonesian guests, and then they have to be there. But I will bring my own cutlery and everything because I'm very particular about
Yeah.
serving people halal food, it's my
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah.
So even then I make sure that they use my glass, they use my plating, my plates and everything like that. So far, alhamdulillah, I think they had very good feedback about the food. They say, wow, this is really restaurant on par with the restaurant, and I say, okay, that's good to know. So I think that's the experiment that I had. Also, but it took me a while. I really want to make sure that the taste is of quality.
Yeah.
Although I've never tried the restaurant food before, but apparently some of them say, hey, my Chinese friend wants to eat your food more than they say, how come yours looks nicer than the Chinese? So how come yours looks nicer than mine? And yours is the halal one. I say, I guess this is a thing whereby we need to change that perspective really, because
Yes.
every time for a
Yeah.
non-Muslim wedding, poor thing, the Malays are always getting the standard, like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
one
like
doesn't look
that,
good,
yeah.
and
Feels like Belin.
yeah,
kind of.
correct. Like, you always just get the bento set, but then
Yeah,
suddenly when you get the same quality food from the non-Muslims, they feel very happy, and
Yeah.
and that's when they get they enjoy it. So that gives me that joy and pleasure. I'm gonna talk about whether I earn not so much, but I think the essence of living, the satisfaction and the joy, because I have this thing about, like, if I were to be on my deathbed one day,
You don't want to
when
have
I
any
want to look
regrets.
back, what have I done for people?
Okay.
What have I done for my loved ones? What have I done for the community? Because that's what we're here for.
Yes.
Not for ourselves, but for the people around us. So I don't want to have any moments of regret.
Yeah. So speaking about what you've done for the community, excuse my ADHD. 'Cause I just
Hey, I welcome that.
I just thought of this because
I speak your language.
after what you said, right? I recall Kak Tin mentioning this to me that her child is with you, and her child is a special needs kid.
Yes.
Do you like take special needs?
Actually, I do. Those of the a few of them who are with me on Sunday classes, they have been diagnosed, and I work very closely with the parents. And I think it's, like I said, it's very nice to know the parents, and we have really built that expectations from the start. Because some parents might think that I want to know at the end of the day my child is able to read. Why is my child still so? But if I share with them my expectations for their children, for example, like first and foremost, I would like your child to be able to sit for a good 10 minutes first throughout my lesson.
Like you mean sit still,
quietly,
to focus.
quietly, focus.
Yeah, correct. Okay, that will be a great development already before you can even ask me to get them to read. So I will actually, that's why it's very important for me to update the parents every week after every lesson. Not all educators will do that because it's a lot of work. But I always take that into consideration in my program, that every week I will always update them what I've taught. I will give them extra articles to read, and also inform them, take videos and photos of the child doing their reading and writing. I think that gives them that understanding and trust that this is what my child has been doing for that 1 year, one hour with you, rather than at the end of the year, like, okay, what I've been paying for, I don't know what my child has been doing. For tuition, for example, or I wouldn't call myself a tuition center. I would call myself an enrichment center. So my program is an enrichment program, whereby I encourage children to do creative writing. Those who are struggling with reading, I get them to start from the basic phonics, preparation and such. So that is when I get to see their development, and eventually that's where I encourage them to read poems. I expose them to haikus, articles, different kind of books appreciation, skills. So these are the things whereby it's on top, above and beyond whatever they do in class. So parents who really understand that objective, they're still with me until from level 1 until the Readers Club right now. Yeah, correct. So I think that's something that I focus on, like I mentioned. But of course, those who with for example ADHD or with issues with writing, or even with ASD, of course I work very closely with the parents. If those who can come physical class, they will come for the physical class, which right now it's currently full, but I do have some morning sessions that are available for the older kids. But those who can do online, the parents have to be by their side, so to help them out. So doing it online is also not as easy because the whole house can hear your voice. So they are listening, they are judging how you are going to be teaching your children. So not every teacher likes to do online as well, because they know that they are going to be heard. But it's nice to see whenever I tell stories, then suddenly you see it pop up, the younger sister comes in and then the older brother comes in, and then I'm telling the story through the family, the father sometimes at the back, and then the father say, I look forward to hear your stories. I think that's nice to hear that the whole family enjoys the lesson, and I'm very open to that. So I think that's something that if we can be more transparent with our intention and what we do with our children, the parents will trust us more.
I have a question about the early childhood industry. Like kids, they kind of develop at they some of them really fast and some of them really slow. And all of them are still in the same class, right? Like, how does the school actually manage that? Because I know of friends who told me that at K2 the kids still don't know how to read, but then in another school can. And one of my friend, she told me that she feels her child cannot read because they are keeping up to the weaker student. So how does or what do you think is the best way to actually resolve this issue? Okay,
usually what we do in general, I'm speaking on behalf of the school, so how we practice it is that we do have our main activity that it's all together, but then we also have small group teachings. So I think the small group teachings should be the ones that will help those who are weaker, those who need more help, and those of them who actually have already met their developmental milestone, but they need extra. The teacher can also assist in providing.
Okay.
So it's I would say it's a skill that a teacher needs to have to be able to see where they can help each child in their own individual development. So like I said, it's not easy to be an early child educator. You need to think of the individual portfolio, the development. We need to observe and need to see where they are at. So at the end of the day, how the teacher is going to be able to develop that lesson plan really matters a lot. So I think that is something that sometimes teachers do struggle because there's no time, right? So by the time you want to help this child, the lesson is already over. So the teacher needs to know how to spread and manage her time for the week. And to see, for example, if she's not able to see the child today, then tomorrow she needs to ensure that she observes this child first, for example. So, but you don't have to observe every child today, for example, you see. So that's the struggle that I think every teachers will have. And then by the time they want to do this, they are being told to do other projects. Projects come in, other work come in. So I think that is something that is causing teachers to have a burnout. At the end of the day, they want to leave because they feel that their joy for teaching is no longer there because they're doing other things besides doing that.
Many other things.
Correct. So we are hoping that at the end of the day, how we can actually help the teachers to manage that. Also for their own well-being as well, and also to ensure that their passion and drive to teach children doesn't die off lah. Correct. It's easy to really to be tired and say I'm done.
But I mean, like what you shared is not really practiced by majority
most
of the schools,
actually
right?
they do.
And I think I think
all.
it's also because they may not have enough staff also, right?
Yeah, not enough manpower.
I think it's not only enough stuff, but it's the skill wise, whether they're getting mentored to do it. How sometimes it's like you're being told. I mean, we all are taught to do it in our whatever we learn in diploma and degree and such, but to do it, to practice it, you do need a lot of help sometimes to see whether you're doing it on the right path or whether you're doing it right, whether you're consistent. It's not easy. I mean, as a teacher, I struggled myself, so I have to learn how to identify where I am not strong, and then I will try to work on that. But I have to manage my expectations. Correct.
One more question, and this is with regards to I think the development of the children and the development milestones. I'm a December baby. Okay. My sister is a January baby. And she always does well in school. I feel that the reason why she do better in school is because in the earlier years, she has a
1 year.
almost 1 year head start ahead of me.
Correct.
Whereas like for me, like for example, when I go to K1, I'm basically still
the youngest.
I'm the youngest, and I'm technically supposed to still be in the playgroup.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So like, is there any way to actually resolve this problem? And do you think that this is an actual problem in the first place?
I wouldn't say a problem. It's actually just a phase in life that you have to go through. Definitely, we always, whenever we look into things, and sometimes we notice that this child is unable, then we actually look at the date of birth. It was like, is this a December baby? Is it so we do. But I'm not saying that all January babies will actually do better. Sometimes some January babies, but between December and January, sometimes the December baby is doing better. But now if I ask you a question, if you don't tell me you're a December baby, I wouldn't know that you're a December baby. You get what I mean? At the end of the day, you're developing well, right?
I mean, but that is way ahead of the early childhood period.
Correct. So if you want to talk about early childhood, that's when we need to manage our expectations. I think a lot of parents are very worried whenever it's December. Some of them are okay because they know it's a December baby. So give some time for them to develop, which that's what we do. We allow them to develop on their own pace. But at the same time, we ensure that we provide them the opportunity that they deserve. Sometimes, I don't know whether you notice that, but we do notice it. Sometimes before their birthday or after their birthday, there's this magic moment that suddenly they're able to read. Suddenly, there's this magic moment. There's like a switch. You suddenly turn 5, suddenly you can read, kind of thing. So to me, I feel that we need to embrace every little steps of the child and do not need to worry about whether this child is going to be a December baby and this child is unable to. But I do see some struggles of this child. It really depends on how the adults want to deal with it.
Okay.
If the adults are going to stress upon the child to make sure that you are the same on level and on par with your January, February friends, the child is going to struggle.
Yeah.
But if let's say you're going to embrace the child's learning and embrace how he is developing according to his own level, he's gonna enjoy learning way better.
Okay.
So I guess at the point of time there was that comparison between you and your sister, etc. So that's where you felt. So it really depends on the adult how they want to deal with, for example, at that point of time your expectations, and to say that you are doing well on certain things. You're gonna work harder. You're gonna try your best. Yes, sometimes like I said, we do not want to undermine the child's feelings. It is a legit feeling that you are feeling the struggle, but we also want to tell them that I'm going to be with you. Okay, let's do it together.
Okay,
you're not going to be alone. We're all going to work together and help each other out. So that's how the child is not going to feel that, oh, I'm a December baby, for example, or I'm struggling because I'm the youngest. Sometimes we give the opportunity for the youngest to maybe lead a role in the class. So that matters a lot. So it's not just about reading alone, but how do we develop their self-confidence?
Okay.
From there, how do we develop their attitude towards learning? From there, that's when they are able to do it on their own. Because at the end of the day, the child is their own learner as well.
Yeah.
So we cannot just depend on the adults to help them, but they need to help themselves. So how do we as a parent or an adult help and facilitate their learning? That matters a lot more.
You should travel back in time and tell this to my parents back then.
So that's where I'm starting to break the cycle. And that's when, for me, like I said, I go to prisons to do my talks, right? About parenting, about gentle parenting, about conscious parenting, mindful parenting. Their reason is always the same. I'm not being brought up this way. It's not possible for me to be like this. So when I tell my story, and that's when they will realize, oh, it is possible. It is possible to break the cycle. It's a matter of how we want to do it. So now that you know that it's not right, I have put in the effort to learn about it. I've put the effort to learn about early childhood education in order for me to understand and to become a better mother myself and a better educator. So that's when I decided to. Back then, we are not being told, how you feeling today? No, there's no such thing. You come back home and your mother's asking,
no such thing as validation.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing like, oh, I got scolded by my teacher, padan muka, kind of thing. But otherwise, if like, how do you got scolded? So the next thing we ask is like, oh, what happened? So how do you feel about it?
Back
That's how I will
like,
ask that question.
What do you do wrong?
What do you do wrong? Then it's like, you deserve it, right? But now we ask, how do you feel about it? Even though in the back of my head, our head is like, you deserve it because you did something. But I say, how do you feel? Okay, so what did you learn from it? Back then, we were not given the opportunity to ask these questions. But right now, we do. As much as we can be firm to our children, at the end of the day, moral value still, it has to happen in schools. I'm very, very particular about moral values in class, about being kind, about being respectful, all these things still can be done with respect. You don't have to do it with fear.
Yes.
So that's my point to a lot of parents. And even though we as parents, we have done a lot of mistakes in our life, that doesn't mean that we cannot stop this and tell our children, hey, I made a mistake. So children can understand. I can tell my 4-year-old, say, mommy made a mistake, I'm sorry, I shouted, but I'm not going to do it again. I will try my very best to control my emotions. However, I do need you to work with me. And they can understand. Sometimes we learn a lot from our children rather than the children from us. Because they taught us about patience. They taught us about forgiveness. They can forgive us anytime. Can we do that? Can we do the same for our kids? Sometimes it's a question. So they know that I'm learning. That's why every night we try to say our thanks. I say, okay, I'm thankful for, until the sister say, I'm thankful for kakak for helping me, and then or I apologize for saying this to you. So we try to do that. We try to practice that.
Okay.
And I ensure that they talk about the problems before we can continue the next journey. So you talk about this first. I'm not going to allow this to happen depending on the situation. So back then, I don't have sibling. I do not know what sibling rivalry is all about. So I have to learn. If I don't learn, I can just say I don't know and move on. And I just do. If I want to follow according to how I was being brought up, I don't think it's going to happen this way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, correct. So we can break the cycle.
Yeah. So just like how Noreta has to move on, this podcast also have to move
Yes,
on. We're
correct.
kind of like out of time.
Yes.
Oh dear.
And I think
I think
Noreta has shared
definitely.
like so many things.
Yes,
right? Yeah, you were
correct.
saying?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Norita have shared a lot of things, and maybe in the future we can invite her again.
Yeah, inshallah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can add value.
Yeah, Noreta, before we end, what
Yes.
is one golden nugget that you can share to educators?
Yes.
I won't just say in Singapore, around the world, because you've traveled
Okay.
as well. Yeah.
Always, to be honest, for me, I always believe in adding value to whatever we do. Just don't do the things for the sake of doing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, we can see whether they're doing it for the sake of doing, and there's no purpose in life. So always remember, all the little things that you do matter. Whatever you add value, don't question whether you're going to receive anything back.
Yeah.
Remember, this is something that not only for other people, but it's also for your own good feeling at the end of the day. And yeah, I think no matter what, children deserve your best parts, also your vulnerable parts. So don't be afraid to be yourself in front of the children. We are not just simply teaching,
Yes.
but we are educators in their lives. So yeah, just have fun and embrace that opportunity and those moments that you have, treasure that with the children, because that's what they're going to remember you for.
Okay, and one last thing. Where can they connect with you to ask you more questions? And
So you can connect with me through my IG, safartraining.sg, SAFAR, safartraining.sg, or either that, it will be Made with Love by NJ for my food, and NJ Photography for my photography packages lah. Otherwise, Noreta Jacob. It's just simple as that for my IG. So I don't
if
change.
you guys want to see how she breaks stuff on her Facebook, that we
All the list of things that I actually have broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much,
No,
Noreta.
thank you.
for
Really
sharing with
appreciate
us
it.
like
Thank
so
you.
many things.
Thank you so
I think there's
much.
plenty of golden nuggets to
Yes,
extract. And
definitely,
I think
yeah.
like it's very hard for me to spill like each and every single one for all of you.
Yes.
And yeah, this has been a very wholesome
Yes.
episode.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, I think I'm very humbled to be able to be sitting here, this very nice chair. Like a lot of people have sat on this chair. They have a lot of wisdom. So I feel like I'm feeling it.
Yeah. And to the listeners out there, thank you guys for tuning in, for listening from part 1 all the way to end of part 2. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
District 65 is here to guide. Find your dream home with them by your side. For the best deals, you'll be in heaven. Call 87616-867.
This podcast is brought to you by Selling District 65, and we are on scamming topic. Ami, carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So just now we end off with nowadays people can actually lease their own house. Is this the reason why there are more and more scams nowadays? And what are your experience in terms of that ever since HDB say that they can lease their own house?
You want to cover it since you guys rental experts?
Okay.
I don't think HDB doing that where buyers and sellers can lease their own flat and do it by themselves is the cause of the scams. It's been around. It's getting worse because I think we are in the digital era and AI and all that. So people are also getting smarter and smarter.
Yeah.
But it caused a significant rise in scammers. Yes. And a significant rise in scammers because of HDB doing that? No. But a significant rise of people posing as real estate agents? Yes, a lot.
Oh, okay. So that's
Yes.
how people are scamming nowadays. Huh?
Yeah, in that way, correct. So they are offering, they are not agents, they are not registered agents, but they offer flat fees to do for you the service. In this case, you can get into trouble as the owner of the flat also.
Oh, okay. Owner of the flat also can get in trouble.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Even if the listing is real, but to pose as an agent when you are not licensed, that's illegal in itself already.
Yeah. So about the agent thing, I understand, but you listing your own.
You the thing is you can list your own flat to sell
Yeah.
in the HDB flat portal.
Okay.
But you cannot post it in other portals, other property portals like Property Guru and all that. You must be an agent.
Oh, okay.
If you're not an agent, you cannot post at Property Guru because agents pay a subscription fee.
Okay, that's for Property Guru, right? What about Carousel?
Carousel, yes, as an owner you can. But the thing with selling and buying, yeah, Carousel also now you got to subscribe and then pay for coins and all that lah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, for selling and buying, you want to scam, that one memang a bit hard lah. Okay, so the thing is let's say I as the seller, right? I don't want to engage an agent.
Yeah.
Okay, I say I do myself. Everything also I post on HDB flat portal myself, Carousel by myself, whatever. But I can engage somebody who does these services, but it's not a licensed agent, to do the paperwork for me, to do the viewings for me. Who will know whether actual agent or not?
Must wear lanyard lah.
Agent will know lah because by right you're supposed to wear a lanyard.
Yeah.
Okay, but sometimes they don't wear.
Yeah.
But you want to sabo your so-called agent friend, so you not nice lah. Okay, for not wearing a
Don't do that
lanyard.
lah. People do forget.
Yeah, people do forget.
But
People
there
do
are
think
other
about
ways
it.
we can verify also
Yeah.
with the.
Like your case, the one where your one is about a buying case, right? Went to the house, somebody opened the door, which is not the seller, so-called the agent, but found out that that agent is actually not a registered agent lah.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was doing a lot of paperwork and her client actually saw a lot of OTPs on the table.
Oh, okay.
So my client asked me, Gabby, this person is the agent, is it? But she's not. So because I went on CA again to verify, she's
Yeah.
not. So when I asked her, are you an agent? Yeah. Then I said, are you?
So the reason why you asked is because you saw the many OTPs lah.
Yeah, so I wanted to know, am I dealing with an agent or am I dealing with the
owner
owner? Because I found you on the HDB portal.
Right.
You know, so I want to know who am I talking to because I mean it's different to talk to an agent and
The
an
owner cakap, dia kata, oh, this my family relative.
this is my family relative, and then you know already the story is already no link, and then the family meet her, so don't talk to like family. You will know if it's your family member or not. Everything is just weird from my observation.
Okay.
So then that's where.
Then we figured lah that actually there are people who provide this kind of paperwork services.
Okay.
So
But-
with this HDB portal, yes, it did cause a rise of these people to come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Interesting.
as someone who perhaps observe this in one way or another, what is the best thing that we can do? Because I remember when I did the RES exam, I think if you impersonate an agent, you can get like up to 12 months imprisonment whatsoever, right?
25, yeah.
So how do we report, or who do we even report to about these people?
CEA,
CA.
likely.
And if we were to report, like what exactly?
you can report.
What exactly do we report? Like their name or their number or what exactly?
Impersonating, I think, is really a crime by itself. So that one might involve the police. But if, let's say, they just say, oh, I'm just helping, if they twist the story and say that, oh, I'm just helping my auntie to sell the house. I know how to sell, so I help her with paperwork. You know, this kind, sometimes you want to investigate.
Oh yeah.
A bit hard lah.
So it's like a grey area.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Wow.
A lot of people might support the idea of why I cannot provide. I know how to do. Why I
Yeah, I
cannot
know why I
provide
cannot
this
provide
flat fee for people. You know,
Yeah.
because it's like a middle person thing. Why I cannot? Why I cannot?
Because technically, when you sell your own house, you are like acting as an agent as well.
You are
If
your
it's-
own
if
agent.
it's own house.
You are your own agent. All you have to do is get access to the other person's SingPass to give you access. You can do everything,
Everything
for them.
right?
Who no?
Oh.
But that is the part where we cannot do.
Cannot. It's actually illegal. Don't get
Agency
caught.
work,
Yeah.
agent work lah.
Yes,
So if
agent.
this person kena tangkap, for example, get caught, goes to prison because, like I said, there's a fine and the imprisonment, right? Then what's going to happen? and this person is not backed up by an agency. Because our agency, we have lawyers, we have this and that. If anything goes wrong, we have a
We have
team.
insurance lah.
Yeah, we have insurance and all that. So, you know, we give you a sense of security when you engage agents like us. You cannot say lah, agents expensive. We actually do a lot of things. The reason why you hire
Yes, I
agents,
agree, yeah.
a lot of people have this mentality when you hire agents is buang duit. You pay 1%, 2% for what?
Because they don't see the work we do.
Yeah, but that's the idea of hiring an agent. You're not supposed to see the work. We are supposed to tell you, okay, 2 p.m. appointment. Okay, 3 p.m. $80 you transfer. Okay, 4 p.m. is the viewing, this and that. That's it. But what happens behind closed doors? Us
You don't see it.
arguing with the other agent or the other owner, this and that. You know, swimming through all these scams, finding out if that person is doing it correctly and all that. Of course, we won't share
And
with you.
timeline, very important. Timeline, managing your timeline. If you want to do everything by yourself, sekali in between you homeless, how? Want to answer?
That's true.
Correct or not?
Okay.
Yeah, especially in selling and buying. If you're not sure, you think you can do by yourself, can by all means. But if you end up homeless without a home to stay in between and no money to book a hotel for 3 months or whatsoever, then you are answerable for your own actions lah. Because as your agent, we are supposed to manage all that for you and make sure that you transition smoothly from selling to buying. You know, must be a smooth process.
For renting
Any
also.
hiccups, your agent should be able to foresee. Timeline lari a bit lah. In between if you do this, maybe 2-3 weeks you got no place to stay. You got backup plan? What's your plan B? Stay with relative? Stay where? So your agent should be able to list down all that for you.
Okay.
So it's not as easy as just selling and buying. There's a lot of things that goes on in between. Otherwise, there won't be any RES exam and people
True,
fail, guys.
A tough exam.
A super
and
tough
there won't be
exam.
any imprisonment and someone for us to know that if this is not a serious matter.
Yeah.
If it's just as easy as selling and buying, everybody can do it. Then no need to take exam lah. Yeah, correct not?
Even wearing a lanyard also is
$10,000 fine with 6 months imprisonment, guys.
Gosh.
Imagine going to prison. Kau masuk pasal apa? Aku tak pakai
no.
lanyard.
So it is
Malu.
not an easy job.
It's not.
I've cried multiple times for a few cases.
really.
Yeah.
Sleepless nights.
Some of them are
Yes.
even paid.
Wow,
So
those
I
tears
kena
are.
scam.
Yeah, because sometimes your clients also one discount, just say one discount lah. No need to tekan us. We do lesser of this.
Or they
Or
go beat around the bush.
They beat around the bush just because they want a discount. You see.
10 minutes late. You know, it happens. I'm not joking. 10 minutes late, so minus $100.
Okay.
It happens. And it's so funny because
$100.
it happens. They calculate you in that manner. They count in that manner. Macam 10 minutes late. You know, I've been waiting for you for 10 minutes. So, okay lah, 10 minutes, $100 lah. Off from your
Commission.
agent's commission.
Wah.
I also kenal one case recently.
Oh, recently lagi.
Come, share. We got time.
Yeah.
Thinking whether he or she will watch the
Let's
podcast or not.
I
Okay.
mean, don't say her name lah.
last few minutes.
Okay. Close a unit for a certain price.
Mm.
Okay. Buyer backed out. Buyer backed out in advance, so I know remarket quickly. No, the moment the OTP expire, I already got buyer on standby. Okay, so smooth or not? Very smooth lah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so new buyer offered slightly lower,
Okay.
but I have to absorb that slightly lower in terms of my commission full lah. When I charge only 2%, so by right 2% is based on a certain amount of sale to get that amount, but I have to deduct. Let's say it's a $3,000 off. I minus $3,000 off my
Whoa.
because I sell $3,000 lesser. For the second one. Yeah, that's my reason.
Is it
one.
something that you do it without the sellers?
No, of course the seller is a seller buyer. You have to present every offer, what?
Yeah.
Right? So you want to cepat-cepat jual. Also, if you don't want, don't accept. But I feel that 3,000 is not that a few $1,000s off, or even if it's 5,000, it's still okay. You see,
Yeah.
but because nak cepat-cepat jual, but then okay lah, I absorb. But my end pula, I want to move forward. I want to cepat-cepat tutup case. I don't want to
Yes.
ponder over it. You know, just get this over and done with and move on. Okay lah. Absorb lah. You know, it's okay.
Okay, but how do you absorb when they are supposed to pay your agency?
They're supposed to, on our end, our agreement, kan? So I give a discount lah from there lah.
Oh, can do such thing. Okay.
Can Ami? Can do.
Okay, yeah, interesting cases that you guys have, especially about the scamming part. So, like what Nazrin said just now, if you guys don't want to be scammed, don't want to have any headache lah, just contact who?
Selling District 65, guys. Remember the number? 8761 6867. I repeat again. 8761 6867. So the thing is, there's so many scams out there. I think leave it to them lah. Because you don't want to get the headache. Don't yaya papaya. Simply put.
Cina don't kikiang.
Just make sure leave any property matters to them. They know what they should do. Don't need to don't ask for discount lah. Even they are 10 minutes late.
Don't lah.
Yeah, we are all humans. I think we all have our own priorities. So yeah. So then again, I hope you guys enjoy this talk sets with the team. And should there be any concerns, reach out to them. And yeah. So yeah. Any last words, Ami?
Nope.
All right. So with that, we'll end this one. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye.